budak-budak tidak pernah recording. So even though I was a engineer, it's embarrassing lah. We didn't do metronome, we practice pun alang-alang, tapi excited to record lah. So we took 1 hour je, RM100 tu. 1 hour, did one song.
Studio.
Yeah, just to everybody jam, jalan. But the song got onto a station in KL lah. I think. Beginilah, if you look at to be an artist kan, it's about selling a product. So your song is the product. So where is your market? Kalau Labuan susah, I think kan, what Labuan could do is, if you want to start lah kan, focus on the traditional dulu. Kasi naik balik the Labuan punya traditional music.
Nervous. Kau sama si JD dah nervous?
Itu JD.
Resap.
Ini formal gila. JD was like through my laptop.
Dia ada formal. Ini tidak formal, santai.
I don't know. Cause kau
No, dari kerja lah. So, kita tidak
sama RTM.
And I don't have any title for this yet.
Once RTM, forever RTM.
No, forever RTM. Okay. So basically itu question lah kan?
Yes. Intro lah ya show.
Kita mix. Masa saya tiada introduction to show. Recording zone ni kan?
Yes.
Tiada lagi show.
Well, welcome to the first episode.
Alright, welcome to the first episode. Untuk malam ni ataupun untuk kali ni kita ada satu orang personality. Personality juga kan? Sebab lama dah nampak ni dia on and off. Labuan, KK Labuan.
Yeah, KL.
KK.
So,
this is Chris Pereira. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, you pronounce it better than I do.
Is it? So,
Yeah,
Chris Pereira.
Pereira. Yes.
You mix?
Mix
apa?
Bapa India, mama Cina.
Bapa India mau Cina.
Keluar anak Melayu.
Okay. Chris Pereira sound like Portuguese.
It's memang ada Portuguese lah, but we are my dad's side is from Klang, so memang Indian from Klang, Malayali. Yeah. Tapi memang ada darah Portuguese, but I don't no idea.
No idea. Okay.
No idea.
But orang pun mau tahu juga nih siapa Chris Pereira ni.
Okay lah. Chris Pereira is a guy from Labuan, born and raised Labuan. 99 kata saya caw dari Labuan after studies.
Okay.
So I'm 42 now.
Wow.
Lahir in 1980.
Right.
97 habis SPM, 98 ambil diploma in audio engineering. 99 balik KK. Back Labuan, sorry. 2000 I started working in KK. So my first job in KK, not really much to do with audio engineering lah. It was for a construction company. Okay. M&E lah, mechanical and electrical. Yang kasih buat electrical works, finishing for bangunan-bangunan semua. So we were in charge of the sound systems for dewan, sekolah-sekolah. So my job was to calculate speaker loading ngam ke tidak, dispersion dia betul ke tidak, installation. So started that in 2000. At the same time I was DJing at the clubs, performing here and there as a rapper, sikit-sikit sini sana. And then every month untuk 4 tahun, from 2000 sampai 2004, I would call up Roger Wang from Ram Studio.
Okay.
Tanya dia, kau perlu assistant kah? You need new staff? For 4 years ni. Then one day he said, are you still interested in being an assistant? I'm like, yes! Hari tu just I quit my job and then went for the interview. Then full-time studio until now lah.
Because you aiming memang mau kerja
Memang
di studio.
Kerja. Yeah. And in KK at that time, memang I felt Ram was where I wanted to work lah. Because I used to do demos at Most Music juga. Did some stuff at Abu Bakar Elam's studio. Ampal Studio, yeah. But Ram felt like what I wanted to do, I could do at Ram. Especially if working with bands and everything.
Cool. So basically, memang other than this audio engineering, kan, you are very talented in other like photography, production, video editing, right?
Well, yeah. Because kata lah, if you're doing just one job sekarang memang susah kan. So ended up finding other avenues and turns out photography was an okay thing to do for me. Video not so lah. Like I'm more of a photographer than videographer. So photography actually saya minat photography first before I actually wanted to do audio engineering.
Okay.
So I was always into photography, but then in the 90s lah. Kan mahal, you buy cameras or whatever, everything's on film.
Film lagi kan?
Join sekolah punya photography club pun tiada kamera tu boleh join. I'm like, what? So, yeah. Photography, then I discovered audio engineering quite late lah, 96, 97 begitu. baru I realized, oh, there is audio engineering, there's such a thing. And at that time, because computers were not in the studio yet, right?
Yep.
So I was very much interested into the science behind the recordings. Not so much the playing, like I'm not a musician. You ask me to play chords, tiga jari boleh lah. You know, the basic triads, the C, E, G thing. And then I was more into the making of the songs, like how do you record? How do you make that sound? How do you capture it? So audio engineering pun came out from, surprisingly, British punya big beat era. Big beat would be Chemical Brothers,
Brothers.
Prodigy, Orbital, not Orbital, all those people lah. So Prodigy punya, Chemical Brothers punya album Dig Your Own Hole was the album that made me really, really want to know the science behind
The audio.
the production of music. So when I went to audio engineering pun, it was for how to record, how to make things sound the way they sound. Not so much being a musician to record. So I was very, very much an engineer. The recording aspect, the mixing of it, mastering time tu saya tengok lah because it was so complicated. Because my time was still without computers kan, so everything was analog. So coming back to photography, it happened by accident technically. 2012, I had my first photo exhibition. So before that, 2010, I don't think I had a camera until 2011 baru aku beli kamera.
Baru ada kamera.
Baru had my
What's your first camera?
Nikon D90
Okay.
with a 50mm 1.8. Itu pun George Yong, thank you, Fana Bridal, George murah sama saya.
Alright.
So before that, I borrowed Johan Julian Lee, Hobbycon Julian. He borrowed me his camera. I think it was a Canon 400D, 350D, sama 90mm. Tapi autofocus rosak. So
90mm.
90mm manual all the way.
Okay.
So I used that for like almost 9 months. Dia pinjam gitu saja. So I just borrowed it for long. Did a few jobs with it, 90mm Group photo, my goodness.
90mm.
Seberang jalan bos.
Gila.
And then Nadira Ilana borrowed me her camera as well with a kit lens. So I did one wedding actually, that one.
Okay.
Then I got the D90 with the 50mm. Then I realized I'm a prime photographer, prime shooter lah. So I should be prime lens. So prime lens are like your fixed lens, your 50mm, 35mm, 24mm and stuff. So did the photo exhibition, did some jobs for the Sabah Art Gallery. Drang punya buku, launching book tu. The photos inside is the interior photography, exterior photographies are mine, my photos. And then along the way, I think 2014 or 15, the Japan Foundation got me to shoot their documentation for Run and Learn. Run and Learn is a project between Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia. So 3 artists from each country, multiple exhibitions in their own countries lah. So I covered Malaysia. So I went KK, Penang, and KL. So my photos ended up in the book that went to all these 3 countries. Syok lah. Then before the pandemic, sempat pergi Philippines 2 kali, exhibit sana juga, photos juga.
The one with Sabah Art Gallery lah.
Tidak, itu that was under Budayau. So itu macam under state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So kita put aside dulu your
jauh.
photography talent. Actually, thank you for being with us. Kita mau cerita pasal actually your mostly your career yang di audio lah. Okay, audio stream. Sebab you were saying berapa? 96? It was 96?
Nah, 98.
98.
Diploma was 98.
Diploma 98. Tapi way back there, kau imagine bah dulu apa saja playback dia, dia punya media player kan,
Cassette
Winamp. Kalau komputer lah kan belum ada lagi.
Winamp. Oh, LimeWire kan?
LimeWire. Okay. So it was like what, 98 sekarang 2022. So basically
everything changed.
And then apa yang kau rasa you have achieved yang the best lah for that career sebagai audio engineer?
Wow, that's a good question. Not diplomatic lah, but I would say that I'm lucky I can still do it now lah.
You can still do it now.
Yeah, compared to like, you know, how I started. And sekarang I still have the opportunity to still do this. So I think that's quite an achievement to do. Being the sense that I'm not a musician now, so I don't like literally play guitar. Like I cannot play guitar. Saya berapa tahun under the same roof as Roger and Walter, I never asked them to teach me to play guitar. Like I think back, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should learn how to play guitar. But nah, yeah, so lucky lah to be a non-musician, purely as a producer, engineer, lucky lah. But if you want to say sonic achievements kah? Mixing for hits hit session under, it was an Astro channel, but it was a homegrown production, yeah. So hit sessions was Kota, Love Me Butch,
Live.
live.
Okay.
Somebody else recorded, I just mixed only. So
Okay.
that time was kira syok lah. They flew me into KL to do the mix and everything. Aku kan blur like first, that was 2009, 2010. So first time I touched Logic Pro. So that time still slow lagi. And yeah, I got to mix all these bands. I think it was Estrella. I can't remember lah. Like 13, 14 bands, all Semenanjung. Yeah. But Love Me Butch was one of them lah.
One of them.
Yeah.
So kau imagine lah kau dari analog pergi ke digital. You know, like it's not a very, some people masih lagi stick to analog. You know, kalau for you lah, comparing analog and digital, mana yang kasih make life easier?
Analog, for analog to work, I think you have to be a good musician in the first place. Baru analog benefits you. If you're very used to doing bar by bar and then go cut, edit, then software is your thing. But I think now we're in the best of both worlds, where your main is the software, but you still utilize hardware. Like preamps, preamps, compressors, hardware is still hardware. No, software can emulate maybe 60-70%, so you still have 40-30% that cannot touch from hardware. But overall, it's good and bad lah. Like digital has made it accessible. Yeah, siapa-siapa pun can try. Everybody can give it a go. But it makes it look like it's so easy. People take it for granted and forget the basics.
Forget the basic. Yeah.
So that's where you get a lot of bad stuff coming out, or lucky bad stuff lah.
Lucky bad
Yeah.
stuff.
Like if you listen to a lot of the British recordings yang dulu-dulu pun, a lot of it was not supposed to be good. If you listen to the recordings, macam Oasis, yalah meletup lah. But if you listen to it, it's like,
biasa saja.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
And then the Beatles pun, what?
The Beatles,
4-track recording.
4-track recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, all those mistakes made everything good. Now everything is so clean and perfect, kan? It's like,
Too clean.
how you say? There's no accidents anymore. Everything is not predicted, like premeditated. Like you expect it to be like that, so you make it that way. Dia tiada lagi yang, what was that sound? Or like, how do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yang something jatuh tapi it sounds good. Like, leave the mic where it is, don't move it. I don't know lah, something like that lah.
So kalau tengok, you're more in the studio than outside. Do you do any live events?
I used to do live events. I stopped doing it because, I stopped doing live. I didn't really enjoy. I could do live, but it wasn't my thing lah. So memang I'm a lot happier in the studio. Live I can do. It's stressful. Sometimes it's fun, but it takes a team to work. So I'm very picky with who the crew is or which company is running the show. Kalau tidak, it's very frustrating where nothing goes right, or information doesn't get to the guy who's doing the sound.
Signal tak masuk.
Signal tidak masuk, or salah signal, or like suddenly there's instruments that were not on the list and you don't have mics or lines for the instruments. So
Tapi kau ada experience, di studio dan outside studio.
yeah.
So kita mau ambil satu, because sometimes ada orang cakap kan yang they call it sound man, audio man, audio engineer. Kadang-kadang dia boleh buat studio, tidak boleh buat untuk live, and the other way around. So what do you think about it? The challenges lah, studio dan juga live.
I think the basics is the same, like how you EQ, how you compress. It's how you approach it and what you want to do with it lah. But that's the same. The only thing that becomes a factor is the environment. Like when you're in a studio, it's more control. You know where the mistakes are coming from. You know the sound. Memang itulah sound dia. So when it's live, it's different venue. Then you have to know the hall. So you have to be more active with your listening. And everything is always on the move, always on the go. It's the same but not lah. Like videographers are not photographers and photographers are not videographers.
Yeah.
So macam same but different.
Same but different.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my thing is still studio. I can do live, tapi I'm a lot happier in the studio.
Lot happier in the studio.
Like with video juga lah. Ask me to do video, I'm like, kalau fotografi boleh lah.
So fotografi boleh lah.
Yeah. Okay, sanggup fotografi.
Sanggup fotografi.
Yes. Video,
So kau di RAM start 2004. So I believe ada banyak project lah juga, mixing, mastering di sana.
Actually, before I joined RAM, we did a demo in RAM. So we had a band called Mozart's Ghost. So I was the rapper, Jester Yan Salang was the guitarist, Stanley was the bassist, Ruben Raja was the drummer. We only did, budak-budak tidak pernah recording. So even though I was a engineer, it's embarrassing lah. We didn't do metronome, we practice pun alang-alang, tapi excited to record lah. So we took 1 hour je, RM100 tu. 1 hour, did
Book
one
the
song.
studio.
Yeah, just to everybody jam, jalan. But the song got onto a station in KL lah. I think that tu Wow FM ke.
Wow.
So they played it for us and it was interesting lah.
This way back, what?
That before 2004.
Before 2000 lah.
So this was like 2000. I think the demo was in 2000.
Ah.
And then we were offered an album contract, tapi our drummer had to go to Sipadan to be a diver. Then we auditioned some of the drummers and it didn't work out lah. So then Pop Shove It happened. I'm like, JD,
So before
come on.
Pop Shove It, your genre is alternative juga.
We were doing macam new metal-ish, I guess lah. Like, I don't know. Kami punya influence was Deftones, Incubus, Rage Against the
Tapi
Machine.
kau ada rapping.
Yeah, so the Rage Against the Machine part was my rapping and screaming ah. And then our verses would be jazzy, and then our chorus yang heavy.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we only had one song,
You have one song.
Mozart's Ghost.
Tapi you do rap kan juga? Ada juga?
Ada juga.
Ada dua.
The rap pun was before Ram juga tu.
Before rap.
I think Simon did my first demo
Oh.
in his old house.
And
That was bad.
The
That
one,
was-
your demo goes with the name?
That was the time tu, I think Decipher juga.
Decipher juga?
Yeah, that
Belum
was-
lagi Decipher BKI?
DecipherBKI came up because there was another Decipher at the time.
Okay.
He's Korean American lah, so memang tidak kaitan lah. But it's like so weird
Sama.
lah to have to decipher.
Kenapa tidak LBU? Oh, BKI.
How is that? Because I felt macam I'm already based in KK.
Oh.
So if I say I'm LBU but I'm not in Labuan kan, macam
Make
you
sense.
and then
Because you're based in
BKI
KK.
senang sikit. It felt more
Kalau
KK lah.
kita sebut pun yang Decipher, BKI.
Yeah. LBU like. So the other Decipher Funny Lee. So the other Decipher.
That's the name.
His rap name is Decipher American Korean. His name is Danny Chung.
Oh, Denny Chung.
Kalau look at Blackpink punya credit sekarang, Danny Chung is the lyricist
For the Blackpink.
since how you like that.
Yeah. How you
Yeah.
like that? Yeah.
So that's Danny Chung lah. That's the
That's the
Decipher.
Decipher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what?
No, I know. Okay.
So his IG, I'm like, oh my god, he's still doing it. Dia tulis tu Blackpink sekarang. So like, that's why Blackpink punya rap
K-pop
now
kan?
dah gangster sikit.
Yeah. Recently ada viral juga tu Blackpink copy R&B and gangsta semua. Anyway, so kita balik pergi audio.
Yes.
Di studio, you involved with banyak artis, ramai artis, Sabahan.
Lucky lah. Very
Sabahan, and
lucky.
then ada dari KL juga artis dari KL.
Ada. Ui dah, terus blur mah.
There's a few lah.
A lot lah. Siapa yang nyanyi lagu Patriotic dulu tu ah? Roy ada, another lady pun pernah rakam dorang sekali. Both came in, recorded in one take. I was like, oi, lain bos.
Lagu patriotic lah kan?
But I can't remember what they were singing lah, but I was like the tone, how they did it, and then they were very open with sharing. So when I asked them questions about, how you record this, how do you do that, how did this song happen, they were okay with sharing everything. Tiada tapuk-tapuk. So I recorded that one. KL rappers lah, a few. Gene Hackman worked on his first album. Mixed for 542, I think. Sabala's mixtape as well. Budak-budak Ijam with Rash and Rali Makaki. Sewa. And then, but the older ones, bands all got few lah. Saya teringat tu.
Banyak lah. Memang banyak yang involved. Tapi
Andy
what about
Peterson
Labuan?
was nice.
Andy Peterson?
Andy Peterson was good. When he came down, they did some sessions. Banyak saya belajar dari dia. Besides Simon lah, who always give me tips about bass. Andy Peterson broke down a lot of things for me to understand about bass instrument. It's an instrument and how it works lah. So he showed me how he fingers, how everything's with the finger, the tone and everything. So that's where I picked up a lot of my technical side from all these musicians I met, which I was lucky at that time. So even Pachai pun, he explained why he used an 18-inch sub for his bass. Gila lah tu. Pachai pot from Innuendo when he came down and asked him about vocal stuff, so he taught me small tips and tricks. Juwita Suito as well.
Actually, it's not easy kan, Chris. You're not playing any instruments, and I mean not into music. Tapi you're doing music, you're producing this kind of music. So you have to know the music. And sometimes ada musician tu yang cakap, saya punya tone begini ya, saya begini, saya tidak mau dengar ada ini. So it's how to please this kind of talents.
I guess in a way, now when you mention it like that, kan, I look at music from a very technical standpoint lah. Yes, there's soul behind your playing, but when it becomes a sound, that's my job to capture the sound lah. So it's always plus and minuses. So in my head, it's like, okay, you want it to sound like this, so the color is like this, or what approach with it? Do I EQ it? Is it a compressor? Is it a preamp? But I think with music, it's always the intent lah. Kalau if you can explain to me your intention of what you want to do with the song and how you're gonna get there, then not how what you want to do with the song and why you want to do it the way you do it. It's easier for me to help you get to where it is. So even I'm not a musician, technically, I've picked up and I've understood all the instrumentations, how it works, what the frequencies are, why is it the way it sounds, and how to break the rules and bend the rules and guidelines. I always see rules as guidelines lah. There's no reason why you cannot tune a tom a certain way or you cannot tune a kick. There's no yes or no. It's like if you want and you know why you're doing it,
why you do it.
do it lah. So we've done weird stuff for recordings before lah.
Weird stuff. You're mentioning weird stuff. I think I know someone di KL lah, old timer juga, legend. He's not a musician, but he's doing audio, and dia sanggup pergi belajar toge.
Notation,
just to, because he will be doing not just a small band, sampai pergi ke orchestra. So he took that effort lah.
Yeah.
Dia belajar tu notation, and then like you cannot goreng, you cannot kelentong dia lah. So there's one yang macam saya tadi lah, you bukan macam saya pun, I'm not a musician, but then know a little bit of music. So it's a big challenge actually kalau kita berdepan dengan yang otai-otai kan.
I know. I guess my interaction with that was with like Andy Peterson lah. Andy Peterson, even Prof Budin, Prof Jamal. So they're all notation guys, and I'm not notation. I look at tauge, it's literally tauges.
Tauge lah.
But then I understood the barring lah. So when they said there's an issue with the bar here, I said why? Then they explained to me why. So okay. Then over the time I understood and I got it lah. So now even without looking, I can tell, that note is off, or my timing lari, or that instrument shouldn't be playing this. So I understand and I see the bigger picture. And as an engineer or producer, I do that lah. That's why I work closely with musicians. So I don't play my instruments, but I get the sessionist that I can afford for a particular project lah. The best of the best, my particular picks to play certain songs. Like even with Simon, I think one of the Jade Sisters songs, I just sent it to Simon and say, I just need you to play bass. And then whatever, I said, whatever lah. And he sent it back to me, got him.
He didn't like macam saya mau begini, begini.
Because I knew that song fit the Simon Lau thing.
You know yang siapa yang boleh masuk. Okay, that's cool. Tapi tadi you mentioning big names lah, Andy Peterson, Roger Wang, Jade Sister, Juwita Suwito. What about our local, this island, small island Labuan? Are there any
Jonathan
talent?
sir, what's up?
John. John is around. Nanti kita akan tarik juga si John nanti. Okay.
I worked on John Mia first album though. We recorded drums, we recorded bass,
first
guitar.
album what? Refugee. Purpose.
Simon pun main bass. Pusing-pusing Simon juga.
Simon and Peter lah.
Simon and Peter. So yeah, that was we recorded pianos at RAM, the drums, the acoustic guitar, electric guitar, everything. Most of the instrumentation was done at RAM. So memang kerja with all of them lah. There was a singer from Labuan.
Multi-track lah kan.
Multi-track, tu multi-track.
So, kadang-kadang ada orang tidak faham, they don't understand. Macam mana you produce one song lah? You record satu kali kah? Multi-track lah, that's kind of method, depends on what equipment you
can
have.
You can do both.
Bergantung kepada
kemampuan. No, literally depends on the type of song and how you're playing it. Like even before this, 2019 pun, I recorded a song guna 8 track je.
Sekali jalan.
Sunny Barilla from RTM. So he had a side project yang fun ni. That night juga is the first time the bassist and drummer met. First time ni.
Yang 3 orang tu?
Yeah, 3 piece. So first time diorang jumpa, worked out the song, and then it was supposed to be a demo. So I just, okay lah, demo, I think I put up 8 mics. Then they all played sekali lah. Except vocals rakam later lah. But if you listen, we haven't put the song out lah. So nanti when it comes out, you can listen to me laughing in the intro. You can listen to Sunny's voice going, yeah.
From 2019, belum lagi keluar?
Nah, we're compiling a project.
Okay.
And pandemic came. But multi-track and live, you can play everybody together and record multi-track. So like the drums will have individual mics. So like, kenapa tu? Apa yang kuning tu?
It's okay.
Dia countdown ke?
Not sure. Still recording.
Okay, so like for drums, you got your kick, you got your snare, hi-hat, and your two toms lah, cakap. And overheads. So
Drums, okay.
that's already seven mics lah.
7 to 8 lah, 7 lah.
So if you have a 16-track setup, then you can record your bass, your guitar, your vocals semua sekali. But the hard part is the monitoring levels in the room that everybody's playing. So like with Ram last time, it was dual room. So I would have the guitarist, bassist, and
satu
vocalist
bilik.
together with me, the amps together with the drummer in the other room, and then semua orang main lah.
No, that's how you split everything.
Yeah, that's how I did. So everybody would play live together. But then the thing with playing live, if one person makes a mistake, everybody starts back from the beginning again. So kalau kau main lagu 5 minit, ngam 4 minit lebih ada silap.
From the top.
Start back from the top.
Itu kalau
Even your metronome lah, I'll still get you to play the whole song all over.
itu kalau yang satu kali jalan.
Yeah.
Kalau yang multi-track,
Multi-track,
what instrument yang awal-awal you will record?
it really depends on the band. So kadang-kadang bands, a lot of the bands I work with, they're used to having a guitar as a guide. So we'll record the guitar track first, just a rhythm track, just the rhythm as a guide. So it's like just DI, a software amp, whatever. Record the track, then we'll do the drums. Then I'll edit the drums to make sure the timing is right. Then what the bass, guitar, and if the bassist is okay, if the bassist can play well, I'll use an amp lah. If it's too much of a stop go, I normally don't, because I feel if you're using an amp, it tend to change, especially tube amp lah. Semakin lama kau pakai, semakin lain
Lain dia
saja.
punya bunyi.
So if you're stop and go, I'll just use software DI saja. And then guitars will come in later, and I always double track my guitars. So
Why?
I'll double mic my amps.
Oh, okay.
So I have a condenser and a dynamic mic, just to make it, because condensers are like brighter sounding, dynamics a bit darker. So when you put the two together, they are macam bulat sedap. And then why I double track is I like to pan my guitars.
Okay.
So I have them play one time, play a second time as similar as possible, like lagi tune, lagi tight, lagi tune lah. So I can pan those two. So a certain heavier songs, like all this metal or hardcore stuff, I'll get them to play 4 times. Then I'll layer the 4 together. And then we'll do the other guitars, then the keyboards, then the vocals will come in last. And normally people think it's funny, but I say it's 10 hours for one song.
Gila.
Paling cepat.
Paling cepat 10 hours.
Because agak-agak 1 jam 1 instrument.
10 hours, 1 jam 1 instrument. Betul juga
Tidak
lah.
rasa je.
Tidak rasa tuh. Tapi kalau kau di studio, betul juga kan?
Yeah.
Yang terasa membayar lah.
Yeah, tapi that's why we always talk to the bands lah, what your expectations are, what you guys want to do, like where you want to go with the song. If you're saying we're not looking at commercial, okay, then we can cheat a bit lah. Like we can have 2 guitarists playing at one time, or I don't mic up the amps, I go software, so it's faster to do the sessions.
Kasi cepat semua kan?
Yeah.
Actually, we go to a bit technical tadi tu. So maybe the next session lah kalau ada. So we're gonna talk about mono, stereo, that one later. We go back to the talent lah.
Oh,
So other than Jonathan, Simon, ada lagi yang Labuan ke? Yang artis-artis Labuan?
Ada, tapi saya teringat sudah. I don't know,
Nama dia lah.
ada satu singer kan yang join AF dulu tu.
Ikin, was it
I think Ikin.
Ah.
Macam-macam saya dah pernah rakam dia.
Oh.
Macam.
Macam
Kan ada Pija juga.
Pija is KK, I think.
Oh, bukan Lawan ke?
Should be KK, I think Pija.
Oh,
Pija.
Ikin ya. Ikin macam ada.
Macam ada.
I can't remember. Tapi macam ada.
So there's a
Wait,
few
no,
lah.
there was a band. Allah, saya teringat nama dia.
Metal group, metal rock.
Ada si, I think it's Hairul kah, one of the guys. Oh ya, Mantak from Labuan. Oh ya, Mantak.
Mantap.
Oh, Mantak black metal. They released in Europe, vinyls and everything.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This was early 2000. Orang sana went vinyl.
They went vinyl.
Yeah, they were under a French label.
Uh-huh.
So that was the second or third vinyl they did. When I worked with them, they gave me one vinyl from the album before me. So when I worked with them, that was one vinyl, and then after that was another one.
This is local Labuan, ah?
Nas, ya, orang
Nas,
Labuan.
Nas lah orang Labuan. Okay, so
Ya kan, siapa lagi Labuan?
siapa lagi dah? Tiada. Actually banyak bah.
Oh ya, Karen Kong.
Karen Kong. because dia sudah berhijrah ke Taiwan, is it?
Saya lupa.
Taiwan.
Yeah, she came through RAM. About lucky lah, working in RAM.
She recorded with rap.
Yeah, Karen did one song with RAM.
Oh.
Because Asmin Mudin wrote the song. Cinta Hello Kita. Yeah.
Cinta Hello Kita. Oh,
Wait.
Yasmin Mudin.
I think that's how I met her. I don't know if she recorded at RAM. Macam ada. Oh yeah, Genie.
Oh,
Genie.
Genie.
Genie, I did, I think 3 songs for her. So I produced 3 songs for her. One of the songs, Liar Liar, stayed on Hits FM. This was, can't remember tahun berapa ni. But it stayed on radio for 6 to 9 months.
Masuk radio juga lah kan.
Masuk. It was in the
Bisa-
top 10, English top 10 charts juga.
Because kau tengok when you ask a band, kalau they approach you kan, Chris, saya mau buat satu lagu bah. Kau boleh mix sampai mastering semua atau demo saja, things like that kan. So you will ask them, kau mau lagu ni pergi mana?
Yeah.
Kan?
Yes. Like, kau mau rakam ni lagu untuk
apa? YouTube saja bukan. Mesti ada yang
like why?
dia orang punya target. So mostly people bilang saya mau ni lagu orang dengar. If you go mainstream, of course radio lah.
But I think also that's why a lot of bands takut mau rakam. Not takut lah, segan mau rakam because I ask questions. Like banyak soalan Chris tanya.
Banyak soalan lah. But it's easier for you lah kalau you know macam mana dia punya apa image kan, dia punya saya mau lagu saya begini.
And the outcome expectations lah.
Yang outcome tu basically most of them yang saya mau lagu ni boleh siar di radio. Because some of Labuan kan yang band, artis, the talent akan tanya, mana saya boleh rakam mah? Di Labuan tiada. Yang ada sekarang ada beberapa lah. Actually RTM ada, Simon Lau pun ada. Just for recording lah, the purpose of recording. And then if mastering, you can send to Chris lah. You can cari si Chris nanti. Okay. Tapi diorang mau yang quality dia yang boleh share di radio. And then itu susah tau actually. Tapi it's quite subjective dengan adanya dunia sekarang, you know, like ada orang kaya buat lagu tidak sedap tapi pun boleh masuk radio, things like that lah kan.
Itu politik. Itu kan politik. That's like the marketing behind the music lah.
So some professional musician, professional composer, you're spoiling the industry, this and that. So kalau untuk di Labuan, kau rasa macam mana Labuan punya talent ni? Boleh pergi jauh ke tidak?
I think memang boleh. It's just you have to be patient lah. Kesabaran tu yang penting. Because not every song is going to be your hit
song, betul.
And then to get to your hit song, kau kena tulis banyak lagu. Like even with Genie, I think we had 6 songs, but we only worked on 3. Like when I was managing and producing Jade Sisters, we put up 5, but we did 10. They did 10 demos and we worked on 5 lah. So like I believe in that lah. Like kau mau buat satu lagu, you need at least 5 or 6 to pick that one song. Betul. Because if you harap setiap lagu kau buat
mau jadi
hit,
memang susah. Even artis yang terkenal pun, kalau dia buat album dulu, 2-3 lagu saya yang popular.
Yeah.
So the rest of the song jarang orang main di radio. So now tends to macam 2005 onwards ke 2010 onwards ke baru orang yang buat single.
Actually since 2000 started 2006 2008 lah. Singles.
Yang orang akan buat single saja sebab mau buat banyak lagu, satu album memang makan banyak duit.
Yeah.
So better single then kalau dia jadi hit lah.
Macam Ultimate, if I'm not mistaken, he only has one official album. One more they released on his blog. The one's a pure English album lah. But
after Tetarik Crew, right?
Yeah. So he was one that said it lah, yang singles are the way to go. So they bought all the singles first, then put all those singles all in the album.
Semua single dia hit, ada menang anugerah juga.
Yes.
Ultimate. So kalau di Labuan you said boleh pergi jauh. What do they need actually? Other than passion.
They need to learn lah. Susah macam how to learn. You need to be able to take criticism, willing to be criticized, willing to show your work in your demos or your songs or whatever. And it's hard lah, because if you want to do it seriously, okay, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Either you're a performer, or an artist.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're a performer, you make sure you practice your songs, you play properly, you can copy songs, you can copy tones. Being an artist, you need your individuality, your originality, and it's a bit harder lah. So for me, it's a bit easier to be known as a performer than to be known as an artist. Because artists, sekarang, I don't know, in Labuan lah, like where you going to perform and everything. Kalau performers, you got all this busking stuff, you got all these clubs and stuff. But as a performer, yes. But if you are in this position where you are in a band that's performing, if you're performing in a club or whatever, you try lah one song yang your own song.
Betul.
You put it out, see what the crowd react or not. And
kena berani lah.
Yeah, kena berani.
If macam Labuan banyak clubs and then like banyak buskers, you know, have to be creative and then kena keluarkan lagu sendiri and then try. Kalau dia jadi hit, why not?
And the other thing I learned is if you want to be successful in music, you have to invest in yourself. So that's where it's painful and expensive.
Yeah.
The recordings, the mixing, the songwriting sessions. It's costly. But when it works out. But you have to be patient and put the time in to do the work.
Speaking about costly, kadang-kadang ya lah orang nampak lah setakat nowadays yang home studio, things like that kan. Tapi if they don't really know the basic, the fundamental of the home studio, nanti rakam-rakam begitu saja is a demo lah. And for sure demo tidak boleh siar di radio. Ataupun any other mainstream lah, unless
Then people will hear, jadi Billie Eilish?
jadi Billie Eilish itu before that, right?
But then Billie Eilish punya songwriting is it's different.
It's different.
Actually, I think if you look at British recording, they're very laid back.
Layback. Yep.
Like
But then the lyrics.
the song itself like orang cakap Nirvana lah, for example, grunge kan, and then sound dia raw, cincai, whatever kan. If you look at dorang punya Nirvana is Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain has a book out. It's like his journal lah. Kau boleh beli tu. I forgot what it's called. But I've seen the journal. A friend had it. It shows he was sketching guitar amp, miking positioning, what mics, which preamp, what EQ.
He do that?
Yeah, so he was very detailed. So Nirvana punya sound was not an accident. The memang he wanted that particular
even though yang peminat akan dengar, oh begini pula, raw pula.
Yeah. So when I read it, I was like, wow, he knew what he wanted, man. So like which amp, which mic, apa EQ semua like, no. So Nirvana was not a cincai accident.
That's cool.
He was very calculated.
So tadi kau bilang, actually kalau ada talent yang dari Labuan, actually can come up with their own song and then try to make it proper lah kan. Masuk studio.
Beginilah, if you look at to be an artist kan, it's about selling a product. So your song is the product. So where is your market? Kalau Labuan susah,
Betul.
which is why I'm not in Labuan lah. Kau nak pergi KK lah. So like I used to go to KK every time there was a hip hop gig, so rapping kan. Ada hip hop gig, pergi KK, try and perform. Then ended up I was performing every time there was a gig. Tapi itu saja lah, you have to sacrifice and go to KK, do it, or go to KL even better to do it. It doesn't mean you can't be in Labuan. You just have to do the work outside lah.
There are pro and cons lah.
Yeah.
Even though Labuan is a small island, and we're talking about this, not a big market, kan. Tapi if you go yang tempat lagi besar, macam KK, KL, of course there will be competition. So, and then tidak semua label akan, kadang-kadang, oh this label tidak boleh lah, ni lagu tidak boleh lah. So sometimes ada my friend, ada lagu mau nyanyi, tapi sampai pergi label tu, ini lagu tidak sesuai begini. So restructure balik, rearrange balik, and then just to become macam yang artis lah. Tapi dia boleh 1-2 lagu, and then tidak sesuai sebab costly lah. Because your talent pun sendiri, kau mau polish your talent, and then kau mau pergi tempat yang lebih besar, you have to compete, and then kau kena fikir long term lah. Just because music kan.
That's the cost of it lah, I think. Because even if you want to do online now, you can say you can do Spotify and everything, but still getting the awareness of people to listen to your songs. So you still have to do the rounds. You still have to go to the small shows so that the organizers, the radio people, they'll know that, oh, that's you. So it's easier to get interviews. It's easier to get radio airplay or to get like interviews here and there. Because kalau tidak, susah, man.
Yeah, sebab
Like, okay lah, for instance, we're talking about Labuan and Sabah kan. So imagine if you're in West Malaysia, kau di Ipoh. Kau mau tidak mau kau pergi KL je.
of course.
Because that's, and then if you're in KK, kau mau tidak mau pergi KL je.
PKL juga. Ya, sebab the industry itself lah. Kalau di KK, di situ-situ saja.
Yeah.
And then lagu dia pun macam mana, and then kita semua telinga subjektif lah. If you listen to this Sabahan song, of course dia punya core untuk lagu tu memang begitu. We name a few band yang memang famous, macam Estrange, Atmosfera. Dia orang ada tone dia orang sendiri, ada core dia orang sendiri. Core that means yang lagu dia memang rentak dia beginilah ni. Sabahan.
Dia yang punya identity.
Labuan kurang. Even if you talk about Karen Kong, Jonathan, dia punya identity is lain.
Saya punya identity pun
lain. Rapper kan. So kita mengharapkan lah, we hope that there more to come yang macam ada talent-talent yang mungkin dia tahu dia ada lagu tapi tiada platform bro.
I think kan what Labuan could do is, if you want to start lah kan, focus on the traditional dulu. Kasi naik balik the Labuan punya traditional music. And then start from there. Because once people realize, oh, there is music in Labuan, then it's a different conversation. Then it's easier to buat ethnic, but you go pop. And then from there, to to go onwards.
Genre lagu pun penting juga tu. Because when you said about identity, of course, bukan semua orang dengar yang traditional. That's and it's quite challenging kalau kamu re-improvise atau apa, what they call it, tukar pergi genre lain. It's not easy juga.
But it's fun.
It's fun lah.
I mean, okay lah. What I mean to say is, when you go traditional, it's the easiest to get exposure.
Back to basic dulu.
Yeah. I mean, one way to do it lah. If not, then you have to go pop and you fight with everyone else lah.
Yeah, sebab you know, like we're mentioning about performers kan. Berapa lama kamu mau cover lagu orang?
Yeah, true.
That's you have to think long term lah. If you want to, saya ada lagu sendiri, bila saya mau ada single sendiri.
Actually kan, when I was talking to Nas dulu about music in Labuan kan, like how black. Do you know that black metal started in Labuan first?
You mean like in KK punya scene atau?
Before it seems like because I don't know whether it was the oil field or whatever. Labuan had access to a lot of more music before Sabah. Konon lah.
Ini untuk underground lah.
Yeah, so it started here, then it spread outside begitu, something like that lah. Like something like that. But even then, you still have to go outside to play to get exposure.
Yeah,
So I'm not saying
exposure penting.
I'm not saying you'd have to move to KK lah.
Yeah.
Tapi you have to sacrifice to travel lah to do it. Because kalau sini je orang-orang sini je.
Small island, underground, gig kalau mau buat gig pun sini.
Because even KK pun, if you're in KK je, orang Sandakan dia tahu, orang Tawau dia tahu.
Yeah.
So we still have to go Sandakan, we still have to Tawau.
But then when you talk about black metal underground, saya rasa KK, Sandakan, tempat-tempat yang memang punya spot jangan.
Because they build the community, so dorang semua kawan-kawan. So if you don't have the community that works with one another, kau susah mau gerak.
Betul juga.
So when you have a community that works together properly, it works lah. Everybody is just a phone call away. Like how I met like our friendship, Simon, Peter, Roger, whoever. Semua main call and then like, okay, can or not? Can. So if you don't have that network of community like to help you go somewhere kan, susah kau mau buat apa-apa.
Juga. Setiap boleh stay satu tempat saja.
Yeah.
Betul juga. Networking penting. So lastly, kau rasa apa harapan kau yang kau mau nampak untuk Labuan lah basically. So Labuan ada talent bro, tapi diorang tiada platform. So what do you wish to see in 5-10 years to come?
Actually, I miss how the music was 10-15 years ago.
Labuan?
Yeah. Because Labuan dulu kan, the musicians kira pau-pau ba. And the arrangements was what was amazing. Diorang made the cover songs their version of the cover songs. Kau bukan copy buta-buta saja. Okay. And then the bands understood
reinterpretation lah.
Yeah, reinterpretation. And then they understood their instrumentation. Diorang tahu, okay, kami di tempat ni, what we can play. So they know how to curate the song list according to venues, and it made it even more special lah. So like orang tahu, oh kalau kau bawa ni band mana-mana, diorang tahu what songs to play. And yeah, that one lah. Your identity as a band pun lah. Your musicianship. So I think it's a lot of practice. A lot of people now are just taking it sambil lewat lah. Like it's just a hobby, it's a side thing. Like if you're taking it seriously as a music, then you need to grow. Because one thing with music is you never stop learning. That's one thing I learned lah. If you stop learning, that's when the music doesn't go anywhere anymore.
Betul.
So like my mixing pun, even though I've been doing it since 2000 and 2004 start recording, I only said I could mix in 2010. So that's 6 years after that. 2010 and now I tend to change my method of mixing at least once every year. So every 9 months, kadang-kadang 1 year, I'll change the way I mix. Because of how things are now, how things sound now, how technology has
adapt
changed.
with the technologies, everything.
So you need to, even with music lah, you can't keep playing the same power chords over and over. You can't keep, like, you know, metal zones were a thing in the 80s, doesn't mean that now.
Once a while boleh lah.
Yeah.
So kita harap jugalah, you know, dari sharing from Chris, you know, kalau ada yang talent Labuan want to approach, lupa juga mau promote. Thank you to Simon Lau.
Thanks for the
home
studio, Simon.
So if you want to record anything, you can come down to the studio. I'll put in the description Simon Lau contact number sama Chris. If you want to do mastering, mau buat lagu,
Tanya-tanya pun okay.
boleh. Kalau
Minta
mau
feedback
tanya pun boleh juga. Minta feedback. Lagu saya ada lagu, boleh kan ni? Saya punya audio okay ni. In future kalau ada, I know if there's any chances that we can talk more about audio. Sometimes people tidak begitu, you know, particular with gain and volume.
Oh yeah.
No, sometimes yang macam
Gain structure and all
because I believe you're the one, right? We're saying we hang out di satu tempat.
Oh.
And then tempat yang we want to hang out, minum and then chit-chat. But then the music is too loud.
Yeah, like
so
music tidak kena tempat.
tidak kena tempat. So we're gonna talk about that in another episode. Okay, maybe I'll go down to KK. I don't know. We do one
Kita
more.
round-round.
Kita round-round. And feature some other maybe personnel.
I interview you on my podcast lah.
Sure, boleh juga. So basically, thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks for the time.
So we're gonna do this one more time, and in the future kita cuba dapatkan juga lah people like JD.
Boleh.
Shavit.
Let me know.
I'm trying to get Dato' Mauzani, RTM, pengarah orkestra music RTM.
Power,
Sebab
bro.
diorang punya, kita kena belajar daripada diorang. And then if you want to improve ataupun what the word reinterpretation,
Reinterpret.
boleh.
I think reinterpret.
Boleh.
Reimagine. So many words.
Something like that lah. Boleh, tapi you have to learn from the otai-otai lah. Right?
No lah. What you say ah?
You gain a bit from them lah.
Beginilah, kau jangan segan tanya.
Itu satu lah.
Itu saja. You don't go
Kau
anywhere.
diam-diam,
you don't ask.
jangan.
Yeah. Because kadang-kadang you see this, okay lah, call it otais, right? These people you look up to. Kalau kau jumpa dia orang kan, if you have a chance to have a conversation with them, kau tanya
Terus tanya.
Terus tanya.
Sebab macam orang itu peluang kau seumur hidup, kau jumpa dia, kau tanya dia.
And orang-orang ni, orang tidak kedukut ilmu. So all of them that I've met, either like JD, Pachai, Jennifer Thompson, Ahmad Izam Omar, who used to run Positive Tone, semua was very open with answering questions and ideas. So it was very nice to learn from there lah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we learn from one
Yes,
another.
itulah.
Sharing is caring.
Even antara bands di Labuan, tolong talk to one another.
Yeah. So because Labuan is a small community, it's a
Yeah.
small place. So kalau ada okay, saya punya music okay kah? Saya punya bass okay? Saya punya drum okay kah? Things like that, you sharing lah. Right? So kalau ada apa-apa, kita boleh keep in touch, and I'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks, bro. Rastwin.
Ciao.
Chris, ciao.